Hey guys, Chart Stoppers back with another video. In this channel we take a look at different stocks and map out their key support and resistance areas on their chart. It's important to know these areas before you buy any stock, and it's also important to know what kind of a trend a stock is in before you buy into it. Support and resistance is one of the most important things you should know about a stock before you either buy or sell. And also, if you're doing any day trading, swing trading, or options trading, you're definitely going to want to get familiar with support and resistance and this channel. Now, just to let you know, I'm not a financial expert. These videos are for educational purposes only, but I am here to point out key factors on these charts which do impact the price action of a stock. And I also provided a link in the description for Webull. You could use it, and you could start an account. You'll get 2 free stocks. And I also provided a link for Robinhood. You could use that to start an account. You'll get 1 free stock. And just to let you know, we will be doing 3 videos per week on 3 different stocks. So if you have a recommendation for a video, leave a comment below and I will try to get to it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have your notifications on so you don't miss out on any new content here. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into the market today. Today is September 13th, 2021. It is Monday, and as you can see, the S&P 500 is down almost 0.25%. The Dow Jones is up 0.25%, and the NASDAQ is down about 0.38%. So, mixed day in the market today. Not really much going on to start the week here. Okay, so let's get into the stock I want to take a look at today. Today I'm going over Tesla. I've done a few videos on this one in the past. I'll provide a link in the upper right-hand corner to the most recent one. You could go back and check that out if you want to see how I got to where my chart is today here. But right now, Tesla is currently trading at $734 and about 4 cents. It is down 0.31% today at the time of this recording. On the week, it is down almost a full percent in this past week. All right, and in the past month, it is still up over 6%. In the past 3 months, it is up almost 20%. So, it's been doing good the past couple months. Just recently, within this past week, we've had a little bit of a downturn here. So we'll see what happens going forward. But in the past year, this stock is up still over 92%. So, you see the big run up on the chart here. Let's get into it. And you can see on the chart, 52-week high is $900.40. And we hit that on January 25th of earlier this year. That was an intraday high. We weren't able to close above there. So that's why I have my first line on my chart as a resistance point around $883. We were never able to close a day above that point. So that is where we need to get back up to, and we're going to need to hold and close above there if we want to see this thing make new highs. Even though that is right around the all-time high, that did seem to be a resistance point. Once you got up to this point here, you could see we were never able to close above there, even though we got above there intraday. So keep that point in mind if we do get back up there. The next line on our chart going down is going to be $762. And that is acting as a major resistance point right now here. You could see it was resistance in the past. When we got back up to this point after the dip of the correction that happened in February and March here through May, you could see in April, got back up to this level, but we sold off once we got up to that resistance point, around $762. And then we went on to hit the lows of the correction in middle of May here. And then since then, we have recovered from those lows. You could see we briefly dipped below our 200-day moving average here in the yellow during the lows of that correction in May. But we've since recovered that 200-day moving average, and that has been acting as support going forward. But just recently, last week, you could see we tested this resistance area again at $762. And what happened again? When we got up to that point, we sold off again. You could see, it looks a lot like this area here. When we got up there, we pretty much just sold off right after hitting that area. We weren't able to close the week above $750 either last week. And that was a big price point in people's minds to close the week above there. You know, a lot of people were betting on options contracts that we would close above 750 last week, and we did not. So that's another big factor here as to why we're getting a big dip in the stock price. We also had Kathy Woods coming out and saying that she sold a bunch of Tesla stock last week. So not very good news right now that Kathy Wood is selling some of her Tesla stock. She has been one of the biggest Tesla supporters, and now that news came out she's selling, that caused a dip last week. So you could see here, you know, we got up to that point and now we're selling off. And from looking at the chart, it looks like we might be going down to test that $700 area again here. Okay, so if we get back down to that $700 area, that would bring us to the bottom of this channel I have marked down here. Okay, now let's take a look at the channel. You could see my bottom support line in this channel is the trend line we've been on since around March of last year, the lows of COVID. We started this uptrend, and that has gone all the way until today, and we have been holding this uptrend since the lows of COVID back in March of last year. Now, you could see my line closely follows my 50-day moving average here in the blue, and also my 200-day moving average in the yellow. Really, the 200-day moving average is acting as support. As you can see, we've had multiple bounces off of this 200-day moving average, and we've been able to hold that line and stay above there. Okay, so now the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average are pretty much in the same spot. Right here, around the end of August, the 50-day moving average just slightly went above, crossed above the 200-day, and it's been staying above there ever since, just slightly. Okay, so they're pretty much in the same spot, with the 50-day a little bit ahead of the 200-day. So that's also a good sign that we had that 50-day crossover and get above the 200-day. That shows momentum there, and we have had momentum in the stock price, so it has been bringing those moving averages up. Now, looking at our top line here as the resistance point, we have bounced off of this top trend line here to complete our channel once, twice, and a third time last week. So that does show us that we are in a nice channel here, bouncing up and down off of this resistance and support. And it looks like since we just bounced off the top of our resistance in our channel, we might be headed down to test the support again, to continue with this channel and hopefully stay inside this channel as we continue to move up and hopefully break through this resistance point, which has become a problem here at $762 for this stock. Now, we're going to switch over to our weekly chart, see what's going on here. And as you can see, my trend line on my weekly chart is following my 50-day move, or my 50-period moving average on the weekly chart here. So that has been acting as support. Also, this blue line here, the 50-period moving average on the weekly chart, has been holding up this stock throughout the correction that we had back in the middle of the year here, ending in May. And then it's still holding us up right around present day here. Now, also our 21-period moving average here in the light blue has been acting as support lately. As you could see, we crossed above there back at the end of July, and now we have been holding above there ever since. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind for short term, this 8-period moving average on the weekly chart in the white, that is also acting as support ever since we crossed above there. It looks like back here in June. Okay, so we've been holding above there. We did dip below there briefly back in July, but ever since June we have held above that white moving average here. So for short term, you know, if we see a break of this white moving average, the 8-period moving average here, that would not be a good sign for momentum here, and we might be looking at further downside. So keep that in mind. Looks like we had a nice bounce off there today, and you know, we held it and stayed above there. So keep an eye on that the rest of this week to see which way the stock might be headed here. All right, now let's switch back over to our 4-hour chart and see what's going on this chart. And it looks like the 200 period moving average on our 4-hour chart has been acting as major support here since around June. It looks like we've been holding steadily above there with some nice bounces off of that moving average, and hopefully we can continue to stay above there. Looks like we headed down today and tried to test that. We didn't quite get there though. Now keep an eye on this 21 period moving average on our 4-hour chart, because that was acting as support in the past couple trading days here. You could see we were on a nice uptrend looking like a staircase up, and then we fell below that moving average here, and ultimately that led to more downside. So we're going to need to get back above that 21 period moving average if we want to see this thing break above that support or this resistance here and ultimately get above there so we can move on back to new highs in the future. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's switch back over to the daily chart for one last look here, and you can see I have my last support right around $570. That's where we bottomed out during the correction back in May when we hit those lows. We also hit that in March of earlier this year, so we had a double bottom off of that support line around 570. So keep in mind, if we do break out of this channel here to the downside, we might be looking at a third test of that support, but that would take, probably a correction in the market for that to happen and break that momentum to the upside. We would also have to break our trend line that we've been on to the upside since March of last year. So that would probably take a market correction to do that. But just keep that in mind. That is possible. If we do see a correction in the market, we could be looking at downside to 570 for another test of that support. So just be careful whichever way you're trying to play this, and keep my suggestions in mind. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps me out and helps out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also have your notifications on so you don't miss out on any new content here. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time on Chart Stoppers.